Happy 2025, everyone. I'm going to start off the year with a January TBR. Last year in 2024, I had the worst reading year of my life, probably since before I could actually read. I only read 12 books and didn't like most of them. I didn't hate most of them. I just was like indifferent to a lot of what I was reading and just didn't find myself wanting to read at all. And that's horrible because I've been a reader my whole life. So I want to start off this year strong. I'm trying to get back to reading over 100 books a year. My goal is 128 books, which seems pretty doable right now. We'll see. I've already started my year off strong and I finished a book, which I had as part of my TBR. So let's get going. So the first book I have is The Engineer's Wife. This is a historical fiction book about the building of the Brooklyn Bridge, specifically about the wife of the engineer who actually had more to do with building the bridge than people realized. I read this book. I just finished it. This was a book that I was like halfway through of last year, so it's cheating, but it's not. So this is the first book I read this year. More about this book at the end of the month where we actually see if I read any of the rest of the books. Another book that I already started last year is the second book I'm reading right now is Terms and Conditions. This is the second book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. I actually really loved the first book. That was one of the books that I enjoyed last year reading. And I am almost 200 pages into this one. So I'm just going to continue reading this. And we'll see how it goes. So here's some of the other books I want to get through this month. I usually never stick to a TBR, so I'm going to see if I could kind of stick to this. I might veer off a bit. I definitely want to try to get through as many books as I can because it's the first month of the year and it's 31 days, so it's not like next month where there's only 28. I'm trying to read 15 books to start off the month, so we'll see if I can get there. So the next book on my TBR is You Again. This book is a romance. It's about these two people, Ari and Josh. So they meet, they kind of don't get along. Then they meet again years later and they decide they really want to be friends, but just like friends. They don't want to have a friends with benefits situation or anything, but then something happens that changes their relationship. And so we see like how their relationship goes, I guess. So I heard a lot of people reading this. Was it last year or the year before? Let me see. So it was last year in 2023. I heard pretty good things about this one, and I got it from Book of the Month. Trying to read all my book box books this next year. Not all of them, but I want to actually start reading all these books that I've been buying. So that is one of my goals, and I'm going to start off by reading You Again. Second kind of goal I have for reading in the next year is also to read series. My problem in the past as I've started a series, I read book 1 and I loved it. I want to continue on. But then I'm like, I don't want to read them all at once. I want to savor them. I want to just read like one at a time. And then I never get around to finishing the series. And then I'm just sitting there 5 years later going like, oh, I don't even remember anything that happened in this series. And this is one of them, the Red Rising trilogy. So we have Red Rising, Golden Sun, and which one is this? Morning Star. This is one trilogy. He has 2 trilogies of this series, I believe. So this is the first trilogy. I do have the second trilogy too. But I just want to start off with this first trilogy. I read Red Rising and Golden Sun before, and I never got to Morning Star. And I really remember loving this series. And I kind of remember the concept of it, but I remember absolutely nothing that happened with these books. So I want to get around to reading all 3 of them. I don't know if I'm going to read them back to back to back this month, or I'm going to read one, take a break, read something else, and like continue on. But I definitely want to actually start getting through series, because what's the worst that could happen? I love the books and then I have to read them again. At least I'll actually like complete them, I guess. So that's where I'm at with that. Another one of my goals is to read hype series that I have and own, and I just haven't got around to them because I'm afraid of being disappointed. And so that's what the next 2 books here are, Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. And the third book, Onyx Storm, comes out this month, which I will get. The thing about Fourth Wing is I have 4 copies of this book. 3 hardcover copies and a softcover copies. They're all a little different. I think Iron Flame, I just have 2 copies of this one. But so bad for never reading this book. Like, what if I absolutely hate it? But my goal is, there's like a lot of series that I have on my shelves and people are like, this is amazing, this is great. and then I just don't want to be disappointed. So in honor of the third book coming out this month, I am going to try to read these two before the third book gets shipped to me, because I think I have it on pre-order. So the rest are books that I have around my room that I picked up and decided that I wanted to read. Depending on the time I have during this month, or if I change my mind, I might not get through all these. But the first is Billy Summers by Stephen King. I love Stephen King. I've read a lot of his works before. I heard really good things about this one because a lot of booktubers were talking about Billy Summers. He's an assassin, I think, and I just heard good things about it. So I don't think it's like this typical Stephen King horror novel that I've read in the past, so I'm interested to check that one out. Next book is a book I've had on my TBR for a while, Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I read Uprooted by her, and I absolutely love that book. I don't remember a lot about that one, so I think that might be something I want to revisit later this year, but I don't have the book. I originally got it from the library, and I don't know much about this book, but I got it right when it came out, so I want to read it because it's been years. The next book is Agatha Christie's Murder on the Orient Express. I have seen the movie for this, the more recent movie, and then the old movie. Not the movie, like the TV series of Hercule Poirot, which I absolutely love growing up. I used to watch that a lot on TV, the reruns of that. And I already know what happens in the story. I already know the ending and everything, but I'm just curious to see how the book does it. And I'm just a major Agatha Christie fan. The rest of these books are kind of random. This one is The Bride Collector by Ted Decker. This is something my grandmother read and gave to me. My grandmother's a big reader. She really likes to read crime and thrillers and stuff like that. This one is about a serial killer, so just thought it'd be something interesting. Prisoner's Wife. This one is a political thriller, it says. I got this at a book sale. Again, I have absolutely no idea what this book is about, so we'll just see if I even like it. Another book that I got from a book sale, but I'm really intrigued to read, is Flashback by Dan Simmons. I'm trying not to get the glare. I'm like, ah. Anyways, Dan Simmons is a pretty famous author. This book is about this drug that people use to go be with their loved ones that have died. People get addicted to this drug, and it's about this guy named Nick. He's a detective, and he gets hired by a government official to investigate the murder of his son. And Nick's just doing this so he can get more money to get more of this drug, Flashback, but then he like uncovers different stuff. So I just thought this was pretty interesting premise, and I'm excited to read it. The last book I have on my TBR is The Instance of the Finger Post. So this is something I got from Half Price Books, I think. It is about a murder in 1663. It's pretty dense. I think it's like 720 something pages. So I'm kind of debating if I even want to start my year. I mean, some of these other books are long, but this is long and like small print. But I think maybe I'll read this one in between other books or see if I even like it. But I'll go from there and see how far I get anyways with the TBR. So I figured I'd just keep this first video really short and sweet. Just wanted to start off with a quick TBR for the year. I want to start posting more videos on this channel and trying different styles of video. I really want to do more reading vlogs. I failed tremendously last year. I tried 3 or 4 times, and every time I get to a point, and then I'd be, oh, I don't want to film for the next 4 days, and then I'd be done with what I was reading or not interested in talking about it. So I really want to make that a point to at least try one a month. Maybe the Fourth Wing, Iron Flame would be a good place to start, or the Red Rising trilogy. So let me know your thoughts if you want to see a reading vlog on any of those. In general, and doing more fashion content on this channel. I really wanted to do more last year, and I just had a bad year. And it's okay to admit that. Sometimes it's just not a good time, and I feel like this is a good time to really start exploring and making videos. Happy New Year, everybody, and I hope your reading year has gotten off to a great start. Bye!